Okay, we're on page. Thank you. Okay, we're on page 163. And this is the halacha of bishul or ofer baking. And the idea is changing a substance through heat of a fire or a fire derivative. Secondary will also be the same. What that means is that so special for the class. So okay, so we have the one that's on the fire is called Kli Rishon. That's our primary, or the same would be our hot water urn. That's our primary, that's Kli Rishon. And this, when it is cooked up, then anything that you put inside will be called cooking. You boil water, you put whatever you put inside is cooking that. The same would also be if you're going to be pouring from a Kli Rishon, which is called Ilui, is the same as the Kli Rishon itself. So whether it's inside the pot itself or pouring from a Kli Rishon, they're both equal. Then we have Kli Sheni from the original pot that's on the fire, pouring into a second vessel. This is now Sheni. And pouring from this into the next one is Shlishi. So we'll line them up. Okay. So we line them up. This is number one, Rishon. This is number two. And then this one pouring from this one to this one is Shlishi. Okay. Because I know in other classes it's very confused. Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, which one is the one? They start counting from the one that's being poured. So the original one is Rishon. Second one is Sheni. This one is called Shlishi. Now, it's supposed to light up on it. Let's try it over here.
If you want to get free hot water from
Okay. Now, in the handout that I gave, everyone has one. So we have to have an idea of boiling is with water would be 212. And then we have Yatse lettuce. It's hot enough that your hand retracts. It's too hot to put your hand inside, because it is going to be painful. So that's called yad seledes. Yad means the hand, seledes jumps back when it reaches that temperature. So once it reaches that temperature, it's considered cooking. In other words, we should cook our foods before Shabbos. Let's say we're boiling up water. How hot does the water have to reach in order that you should be able to keep it on the fire? So it was very late on Friday. You're trying to put the hot water on. So it has to reach a certain heat, a certain temperature, that it should be considered that it is already cooked. So it would be 160. That is the general level that once it reaches 160, then that's considered already cooked as far as leaving it on. Now, if the water is that hot and you're going to put it on something that's uncooked, then you'll be cooking the second item. So let's look at some of the temperatures. So lukewarm bath water is 99 to 100 degrees. Average bath water is 101. Hot bath water, 105, 105. Everyone goes with Celsius. Which class is the Celsius class? Oh, so we look at the Celsius. Okay. Hot water in the house is 38, between 38 and 51. A hot cup of coffee with some milk, sugar added, is about 125, it's 51. A hot glass of tea is 73. The hot bowl of chicken soup would be as 82. Now, once something reaches 43, it's considered that it is starting to cook. It does not mean that it's completely cooked. It means that once someone took something that was uncooked and had it reach the temperature of 43.3 Celsius, then it's considered that it was cooked on Shabbos, which is forbidden. So one could not have something reach that temperature if it's not cooked yet. Well, what I want to do is my cooking thermometer. Get it to 160. We have a hot cup. We have a hot cup. Are there any hot cups? Okay. No, no, just for experimental purposes. Okay, thank you. If anyone wants to experiment with it, this is the 160. Anyone wants to pass this around?
Stick your fingers in there? Is this,
This is 160. This is this is more than Yad Saledes. This if it reaches this temperature before Shabbos, and your a coffee urn and your then it's considered already like it's already like okay. Pass it around, see what happens now.
Oh, yes, that's the latest 43 degrees Celsius.
Yad Saledes was that was Yad Saledes was 110 was 43. Yes.
Okay.
It's-
It's like not burning, you're not burning. And please get your. And so you cannot use anything up to that temperature. You're not, it's not burning yourself, like, you know, if you touch the urn, that's how I use it. If you touch the actual urn itself, like the.
No, don't touch the urn itself is going to hurt yourself.
I'm
Yes.
saying when you're this is like very little like this.
No. Okay. Now this was cooked up. Let's see what temperature this is. Okay, this boiled up. Let's see where it goes.
Oh, so the one you were
50,
sticking up
60,
fingers into, that's like.
Seven. No, it did not reach boiling. No.
No, but that's like, a glass of hot tea,
Yeah.
that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, in here right now, this is 190. Okay, Klisheni. Okay, this now, oops. This I should have used a cup. Would have been better. Okay, this was 180. This is 170. Klisheni is 170, so it went down 10. 10. Now we're going to see what happens when it goes to Klishlishi. This went to 160. So it jumped from 180 to 170, 160, just by pouring. So each time it is diminished, its heat. So, and let's see how long it takes for it to actually, so, so here we have that there are certain things that will cook in a kli rishon. Certain things will also cook in a kli sheni. And I did not bring the egg that we were supposed to put inside the kli sheni until the end of class, and then we would crack the egg and see if there's any change in the egg when it comes to a kli sheni. So we say that kli sheni can cook some items. That would be things that does not take much heat to cook it. One of the examples is a chicken egg. So I did not bring the chicken egg, but I experimented at home at one point, and it did become like cloudy. The egg, when it's not fully cooked, it did not become a soft-boiled egg, but it did become somewhat cooked. it becomes like cloud. It's no longer like this. The egg white is clear. It's like a very clear. But when you put it in a klisheni and you let it stay there, it becomes very cloudy. So you can see that the cooking process is taking place. So there's certain things that do cook in a klisheni as well. The klishlishi, so the temperature is cooled down some, and then also the temperature should be dropping gradually as well. It takes a certain time for something to be at a constant temperature to be able to cook. If the temperature is constantly dropping, then the chances of its cooking becomes less. So some of the things that they also put into the category of things that does not take much heat to cook would be the tea. So the tea leaves also, with a minimum amount of heat, your water will be colored, but that does not mean that the tea leaves cooked. So in a klisheni, the tea leaves would cook. So it's called cooking. Even though in a klishlishi you also have the color of the tea, still we take the opinion that in a klishlishi it is permissible. In other communities, they will not go according to klishlishi as well. They will go only a klishlishi that cooled down, not a klishlishi directly. In other words, from here to here to here, they would not put in the tea bag because it's still that hot. It only changed 10 degrees, but it didn't start to cool down. So in other communities, they will go according to the temperature of the water. In our community, we do accept that a klishlishi could be used with the tea bag or the other things that doesn't take much to cook. Okay. Now, something that is not fully cooked, making it cook more, is also a part of the malacha. This already went down to 150, so it's constantly dropping. Yes.
I was asking about tea. Can we make tea from the hot water urn, put the water in one cup, and then if you put the tea in the other cup, and then pour the water on the tea bag, is that permissible?
Okay, now, very good question, wonderful question. So we have ivui, pouring.
Mhm.
Pouring from a kli rishon is the same as a kli rishon. Pouring from a kli sheni is like a kli shlishi.
Oh la la.
So there's a difference between pouring from a kli rishon. We say that soda, it's a source of the heat. So even if you pour it, you're still going to get that heat. It's only when it goes into kli sheni does it start to cool down. But it's pouring from the kli rishon, it's not cooling down. However, from the kli sheni, as you're pouring it, that itself is also cooling down as well. And therefore, either kli sheni is the same as kli shlishi.
Oh, so it doesn't matter if it's first or you have it.
Again, to those communities that are more strict about the temperature,
Right.
they will try to get it cooled down as much as possible. Now, generally we say that the vessel itself, there are two ways how things cool down. One is just by pouring it, being in the air, that itself starts to cool it. And then the vessel itself is cold. So now there's a further drop in the temperature. Now it's holding at 150, keeping there meanwhile in this shlishi. Now,
So it is permissible. So it is permissible.
yeah. Now, again, according to those who will go just by shlishi itself, not by the temperature. In those communities that go by the temperature, they will not pour it unless it becomes cooled down. Now, something that is not fully cooked, making it cook faster, is also this malacha. So it's not only putting something onto the okay, so this is my That's my blech. This is my blech. And we have our pot. This is our fire. Fire. Okay, the fire is right over here, right? Okay, everyone has it? Can see it? This is the fire? Okay. Now, if this is not fully cooked on Shabbos, in other words, in some communities, they will put the cholent on the blech, on the blech is a metal that covers up the fire. The reason why we're covering up the fire is to remember that it's Shabbos and not do an activity that might be forbidden. So it's always recommended that all foods that you put on the hot plate, on the plata, or the blech is Yiddish for metal, blech. So putting it on, we recommend that it's always cooked fully, so it will not come into any situations that might be considered cooking on Shabbos. However, what happens if it's still not fully cooked? Doing any activity that's going to make it cook faster is a malacha, is a Torah prohibition. So therefore, if this is not fully cooked, and what are some of the things that will make it cook faster would be putting it closer to the fire. Moving it closer to the fire is cooking, because now the temperature is higher in this part of the blech. Moving it away is not a malacha, because you're decreasing. Uncooking is not the malacha. Cooking is the malacha. So moving it close to the fire would be one way of cooking, which is a Torah prohibition. What else will make something cook quicker? Okay. So putting on a cover is a malacha. If this was not fully cooked, just putting it on would be considered cooking, because you're now making it cook faster. So therefore, if something is not fully cooked and you want to check to see if it is bubbling too much, where you want to push it away, and you're going to pick up the lid, and you see that it is cooking too much, you're moving it a little away, can you put it back if it's not fully cooked? So you cannot, so either it stays on, or if you take it off, you can't put it back.
So you're allowed to the area.
Move it away, you could. Moving it closer, not. If it's fully cooked, then you may move it closer to the fire. There are two opinions, and you would have to check with your halakhic authority. If something is fully cooked and it's hot, and you want to move it closer to the fire, how close could you move it? It's called samach la'esh, near the fire, or al. Al means on top of the fire. If something is fully cooked and it's already on the blech before Shabbos, how close could you move it? According to one opinion, is only samach la'esh. You can go as close as you want to, as long as it's not over the fire. If it was already al ha'esh before Shabbos, there's no restriction. If it's al ha'esh before Shabbos, according to all opinions, you can move it any place. You're not restricted. If it was not al ha'esh and it's fully cooked, there are two opinions, and you would have to check with your halakhic authority. There are different opinions, even in Chabad. Can you go only samach la'esh, or since it's fully cooked and it's boiling, it's hot, all the requirements, then you can go al ha'esh. So if it's already partially al ha'esh, then everyone says you could move it further if it's fully cooked.
I thought that before Shabbos, the food must be fully cooked.
That's why I'm saying why you should, because you might have so many problems. If it's not fully cooked, you might check it, put it back. You might move it closer.
For avoiding all these
Oh, that's
problems.
correct. That's
But you're
avoid all the
permitted
problems.
to.
Huh?
Like you're permitted.
You're permitted to put something raw if it will not be ready Friday nights.
Like cholent, like cholent.
If it's a cholent that has meat in it that takes hours to cook, it will not be ready for your evening meal, then there is no reason for you to make it cook faster. If it is partially cooked, you say to yourself, the chon smells so good, I would like to serve it tonight as well. But it's not ready. You want your guests to have this wonderful, delicious chon. So you might forget and do something that is forbidden in order to avoid that. So if it is something that's not can't be eaten at night, then why should you do anything? So then you would leave it. So halachically, if something is completely, if it's partially cooked, it's no good because partially cooked could be ready at night. If it's fully cooked, then that's fine. If it's something meat that is raw, then you are permitted to put it right before Shabbos. It's just going to start the cooking process. Everything is going to be taking place at night. It'll only be ready the next morning.
But what does it mean that it's fully cooked? Like, for example, chicken.
Edible.
Oh.
Edible. You could eat it.
But if you want to take off the cover, don't you have to fold it?
You take off the cover, you're not putting it back on, and there's no, you just take it off. You do want to put it back.
Yeah, you have to you have to hold on to the,
Yes.
right?
Now, what else is there that makes the food cook quicker?
Stirring. When you mention cooking quicker, it's before Shabbat or during?
Speaking about doing Shabbat, that's a Torah prohibition. We're speaking about the Torah prohibition. That is the malacha bishul. So bishul is not only taking something and put it on the fire on Shabbos, but even if it's on the fire already, doing something and it's not fully cooked, making it cook faster, that itself is also a malacha. So what else is there besides putting on the lid? There's another stirring. Okay, so stirring on Shabbos is also part of this halacha. Doing this on Shabbos, so something that's not fully cooked, is called bishul. Even if it's partially cooked, if it's not fully cooked, then it's still cooking.
When do you consider something to be partially cooked versus raw?
So partially cooked would be up to even if it's 50% edible, it's still raw. It's only if it is whatever definition, whatever it takes for this item to be fully cooked. I guess you look in the recipe book, it says cook for 3 hours. So anything before the 3 hours means it's not fully cooked yet.
Some people eat like meat very rare or like that.
But we would go according to we would not go according to the person, we go according to the actual item itself. It's considered fully cooked. Okay, now,
Just to clarify, everything that you were saying right now, it's just
if it's not fully cooked. Fine. Now, you have another concept. Could something that is fully cooked be reheated?
Yes. On Shabbos?
On Shabbos.
No.
So it matters what it is.
bread, I think, right?
So just one more item. This is salt. Could salt be added to a kli sheni?
Yes, no.
Could salt be added to a kli sheni? So now you are served hot soup. You serve the hot soup from you served hot soup. So this is now our kli sheni. Can you add salt to it?
The third one.
So the Alter Rebbe says that it should not be done to kli sheni, you should do it in the kli shlishi. Or if the kli sheni cools down sufficiently that it's no longer that very hot, so then you could add things to it.
Isn't the serving spoon?
So now we're going to have to experiment with our serving spoon. We said that the kli rishon had a temperature, and this one was 180. And that made it a kli rishon. Even if you're going to pour from the kli rishon, we said either kli rishon is the same as the kli rishon. What's the story with the ladle? How hot does the soup get when you are using a ladle? And we would have to experiment on that. Does it reach 180? If it's 180, then it cannot be a klisheni. If it is the same as 170, right? Our klisheni was 170 when we experimented. This was 180, this was 170, and this was 160 as we poured one from the other. So if our ladle will be 170, then it's a klisheni. So it would depend on how long you leave your ladle in the soup pot. If you leave it, okay, so I would have to actually bring a ladle and make that experiment, or else I'll experiment in the house and I'll tell you, is a ladle a klisheni or klirishin? If it is 180, it's a klirishin. If it goes down to after you've taken it out of the soup and I'll put my thermometer in and it goes to 170, then it's a klisheni. What do you think is going to happen? What's your guess?
Like,
I'm asking you now, if I were to take, which I was going to bring a ladle, which I did not fill my bag with all the good things.
No.
My egg and my ladle stayed home. But again, you know what a ladle is? A serving spoon. Yes, everyone? Serving spoon?
Yes.
So our question is that if you take the ladle, you put it into a plate, is the ladle, this is klirishin, the ladle is what? Klisheni, and this would be klishlishi, or the ladle is the same as klirishin, and then this would be klisheni, and then this would be
I think
klishlishi.
it's the the material keeps it so hot, no? No, the ladle is cliche.
We're going to, so what do you think?
Cliche.
You think? You think?
I think it's change what, third?
Jane is
No, I
second.
think it's like the same temperature as first, that's the first one.
Okay, the same as, okay, so we have, it's going to diminish according to, we're having now, taking opinions. So according to, we have those who say that the ladle is a kli sheni. Others say that it is a kli rishain. So you think it's a kli rishain?
Yeah.
What do you think? Putting a ladle, taking a ladle from the soup, it's going to be a kli rishain or kli sheni? Which one? How hot is the ladle going to be? The soup in the ladle is going to be like a. What is the status? In other words, when we put the soup
No, it
in,
doesn't change temperature.
does the temperature change or not?
Yeah, it doesn't change.
Doesn't change. You think? Changes or doesn't? Doesn't. Okay, what do you think?
You know how British people say?
Huh? Change or does change, doesn't change? You think? Change? You think? Rishon? Shani? Okay, so I'm going to do Bli Neder. I'm going to actually experiment at home. I'm going to take a ladle, take my thermometer, and I will give you or else if anyone wants to make that experiment throughout the week. Yes.
There's a difference between having a metal one and metal spoon, there's different ones, so it's like the rubber and the muffle of the spoon, and you get wood one, that's why I asked which one are you referring to?
The question is, what are you using? There's the plastic one. I mean, no,
Right, the metal one,
there's
the metal one, I would say three.
The metal, I would,
And the
yeah.
metal one changes. Yeah,
Good.
there's another one, but it doesn't change, it's rubber. It changes.
Okay, so we have to. So describe that again to me. What a ladle again? Describe the ladle. What kind of ladle is it?
It's like a silicone one?
Silicone?
Yeah, like you know those the metal is okay, the metal ladles.
We're going to try it. I'm not saying
I don't
anything.
think it's.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try it out.
I was in the Shabbos now
Okay.
once, and there was
That were metal.
Okay.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay.
Have a good day. Yeah. On a black, then you can't see the fire. How would you know where the fire is by touching, putting
You
your.
know, you know which burner you put on.
Those flesh plates,
Oh, those,
if you put your food there too, before Shabbos,
uh,
and then you can't see.
there are
fire.
different kinds. There are those that have, that are certainly spread out throughout it's an even temperature.
Yeah.
There are those that do have the dials, which means that you're able to increase the temperature in different places. So it depends on what
There's
kind of.
ones that don't have anything to change temperature, if you put your hand over, the middle is hotter and the side, so is that how you go by?
Yeah.